to day 2 of our debate here. The motion is smartphones are making the United States smarter. Better. Oops, sorry. Okay. Smartphones are making the United States better. We have a team here that's 4. Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Angela. I'm the 6th grade representative.
I'm Lucas, and I like doing piano.
You do? Took me until 9 months to figure that out.
I'm Matthew, and I like to play sports.
We knew that.
I'm Michelle, and I like school.
I'm Nate Badisky, and I'm skilled.
I'm D'Angelo Tarana, and I'm gonna miss the school when I go to Totem.
All right. All good things. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin again with the motion that smartphones are making the United States better, okay? And in this motion right now, we're going to take a preliminary vote. Mr. Chin, could you please write down that vote over there? All in favor of the motion, or those for the motion that smartphones are making the United States better, please raise your hand right now. Okay, we're going to count you.
Raise them high.
Raise it really high, please, above your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Shh. 4 and against. Always 4s on this side. And then you can be undecided also. Okay? Who is against the motion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Who is undecided? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 12 for, 14 against, 11 undecided. This is a competitive debate. Reminder to all debaters that there are no personal attacks. Please don't attack each other's character, as that has no validity to these arguments. All you want to focus on is the debate and the argument itself, and whether or not you can prove your motion with the evidence that you brought forth to us. Audience members, please remember how we are going to vote here. We are voting based on skill, based on presentation of evidence, whether or not they are convincing, not whether or not they're our friends or having pity on them. We really want to look at the clarity of their evidence. So please give them a round of applause to welcome them. And we begin with the 4's introduction.
Smartphones, they help the world, they help the United States in many ways, from helping us learn faster than other things such as pencil and paper. Smartphones can be very educational and very trustworthy. And the way you use them proves how much you trust your phone. Smartphones, they have impacted the world in many ways to make it a faster way to learn and help more and have more things accessible at a touch of a button. Smartphones, they have access to 644 million websites that there is on the internet, while in the whole world there is only nearly 130 million books, which you cannot access all at the same time. So it's better. So a smartphone helps it much better than books. Phones can be also much more cheaper and accessible than a laptop, as some of the cheapest laptops can be up to $200, but a smartphone can be less than $100 and still have the same functions as a phone as expensive as a $1,000. There are also many different apps with the similar functions as the physical thing that can cost up to $20, such as a dictionary, a Bible, and even apps known for being on a computer now available on a smartphone. For example, Gmail, Google Docs, and even PowerPoint. There are also many different apps that can help with communication with teachers. For example, my 6-year-old brother uses this app. It's called Class Dojo. and it's kind of like social media where the teacher takes pictures and posts different things about what the class is doing, reminders, and is updating the behavior of each student. And what I've just said is proof that smartphones are faster in many ways. They have many similar functions as physical things and can be much affordable.
Is that all the intro?
Yes.
All right. Give her a round of applause, please. Against side, introduction.
We are against the smartphones are making the USA better because it can affect your health and there have been many accidents and it's a bad addiction. One story I have is that I was in a car with my uncle. We were going to the mall and then we got off the exit from the freeway. The car behind us crashed into our car. No one was hurt, but we later figured out that it was a student driver was on their phone. This was scary, but I was glad at the same time because the student driver crashed into us while using their phone. Now that I'm learning about this, I'm fascinated by how often it happens. 1 out of 4 car accidents are texting while driving related accidents.
Not only that, but about 300,000 injuries happen per year related to these accidents. This is supported by the website Edgar Sidney. In paragraph 5, it states, nearly 300,000 injuries occur each year from accidents caused by texting while driving. And it also states that 1 out of every 4 car accidents in the United States is caused by texting and driving. Our first major idea is the health risk while using your phone. Radiation from your brain, what health causes. How is it a health risk? As stated by Lizette Boreal from Medical Daily, it says mobile phones use transmitting radio waves through a series of base stations where radio frequency waves are electromagnetic fields that cannot break chemical bonds or chemicalization in the human body, says the World Health Organization. This quote explains that phones have a health impact on humans. Phones have a radiation that can cause diseases. On your phone, there is a disease-prone germs. Long periods of cell phone use cause you to arch your neck and hold your body in a strange posture. The high frequency of cell phones use can have negative effects on our stress levels. One thing to keep in mind is that your phone has a lot of germs. They contain more disease germs than toilets do.
Like to prop up your thing. Just put it down. You have 2 minutes left.
All right. Texting while driving. People crossing roads don't look both ways when they're walking. That's the end of our...
Give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Those were our introductions. We have a lot of interesting ideas put out. The for and against group have set themselves up, and you know where they both stand. It is now time for rebuttals. For side, you may begin.
Let's go.
Smartphones can help with faster communication and help keep in contact with friends and family. They can also help with faster transportation, like apps like Uber. Uber is a driving app that can help you go anywhere you want. The cost depends on what kind of Uber you have, like Uber X and Uber XL. It can cost around 0.15 cents and 0.45 cents per minute. Smartphones can also be an educational tool for youth. Like, they can use websites like Khan Academy and other learning apps.
Smartphones can also help because there can be relatives that are thousands of miles away. And you can have not seen them in years, and sometimes the smartphone can be only way to communicate, and apps may be the only affordable way to. Smartphones could also be an educational tool for youth, like Khan Academy and other learning apps.
Are you resting? Do you have any more arguments? Is that it? Look at Angela, is that it? Yes. All right, again, side. It's your turn.
One major problem with using phone is accidents. Texting while driving is one of the accidents. People crossing roads don't look both ways when they're walking. One quote I have by Huffington Post is recent incident of a school bus driver crashing into another bus filled with school children while he was distracted by his phone. 3 passengers died, including 2 young elementary school kids. This shows that because of one bus driver were on their phone, the kids had to suffer, and 3 of them had to die. Texting while driving is a big problem. Accidents involving texting and other technology-related accidents cause 2,364 people to die. 11 teens die every day as a result of texting while driving. In 2013, 3,154 people were killed in destruction-related crashes.
Teens are so distant from their family because of their technology that they often become lonely and very depressed, locked up in their room and barely ever socializing, or even seeing any sunlight or light at all. The addiction is caused by the sound or vibration of your phone when you get a text or an email. This is supported by the site. This is supported because a website Sebastian Murdoch stated in paragraph 4 that it is very neurologically addicting, he said. When you get a hit, finding something or hearing from someone, you get an elevation of dopamine, and it compels us to keep checking. Looking at your phone compels us to keep checking. Looking at your phone can and will cause addiction. It addict you to the noise or vibration you get when a text pops up. Keep in mind the time you spend on your phone can affect the way your mind works. Also have a personal story. My brother, he is very addicted to his technology that whenever my mom calls for him, he never comes. And my mom always has to go and get him himself.
And one of the last things for our rebuttal is that technology has made us smarter, is what they are trying to say, and that was stated by Texas and A&M today. And on that article it said technology is bad for you because it can cause you to have stress and sleep disturbance, and not making you more productive. And also stated by an article, when we have it says that more than 50% of students are more likely to check their phones during studying, and this can cause us to not make us smarter, because it can cause us to think about our smartphones all the time.
1 minute.
And one personal story that I have is that, like, when my dad and my friend Sean, we were out on a hiking trip, and we almost got lost because, like, my dad's phone didn't work, and with his compass on his phone, and same with my friend Sean's phone, and so we had to use a compass instead of their phones, because without cell service, then your phones almost won't work. And so that is the end of our rebuttal. Thank you for listening.
All right, give both sides a round of applause. To the audience now for questions. Can you please raise your hand? I'm going to start over on this or wherever side I can.
One question I had was, when you were up there, this is for the against side too. When you were up there, you guys seemed nervous, and like some of you were like shaking your head, or like.
We're going to focus on the argument, not focus on the presentation of the.
For the against side, I have a question. For do you have any sources that state that there's lonely and depressed for the phones?
So we do have it we have multiple sources that say that it's like causing cell phones, like they have effects to it. So one is by Medical Daily, and it says 5 reasons why cell phones are bad for your health. And one of them was that it causes you to be lonely and depressed, and it has negatively affects emotions. And it says that in 2 studies conducted at the University of Essex in the United Kingdom, researchers studied that the effects of mobile device during a nose-to-nose conversation.
For the against side, what happens if they're going to use their phones for something productive, like calling classmates for homework or questions about things, or working together on a project?
Well, first off, we're arguing against smartphones. We're not arguing against cell phones, and cell phones still work to call people. You can still call and text people. You don't need a smartphone to call or text.
This is for the against side. What are noticeable difference between smartphones and regular cell phones?
Well, first off, smartphones have applications, while cell phones don't. And most cell phones are usually in flip phones. So if you've seen those are definitely cell phones. And smartphones, for example, are like iPhones and/or Samsung Galaxies.
Can you move around with me on the camera?
I have a question for the for side. You said that
smartphones can be trustworthy? I'd like to know how.
Well, the way that phones can be trustworthy is because it has many applications, as I mentioned, where you can work on your homework. And as I've also stated, that sometimes laptops cannot be as affordable as a smartphone. So if you buy a smartphone, there can be many applications, same as a laptop, such as Google Docs, PowerPoint, and even Gmail.
This is for the 14. How do you guys explain like all the deaths that have happened because of smartphones?
Well, for the deaths that happen with smartphones, there is other reasons that it happen for deaths. Even though smartphones can be a common one, it doesn't have to be smartphones. It can also be a flip phone, and you can be talking on it. There's also many cars that have extensions where you can connect your smartphone to the car and be talking and also driving, and this can help prevent accidents.
This is for the Foresight. Do you have any information or evidence that how smartphones help students with their homework or school projects?
There's a bunch of apps for like. I didn't really hear the question.
Okay, Angela, answer.
So for the homework and TAF especially, we have a lot of homeworks requiring Google Docs and PowerPoint, and there is also many apps where you can talk to teachers, and this can help for asking questions, as Mr. Mali has told us that he cannot give us his personal phone number, and these apps do not necessarily give personal information, and that way you can ask the teacher questions, and they don't have to be in school.
I'm gonna go to people who haven't asked a question yet, so you're gonna have to wait.
This is for the Foresight. Earlier in the argument, you guys stated that smartphones are less cheaper than laptops. Do you guys have any evidence on that?
There's stores like Apple's and there's stores like Apple's that sell iPhones and computers, and most of the iPhones are cheaper than laptops.
Daniel, did you ask a question yet?
This is for the Foresight.
You know what? So this we don't like talk. I forgot.
No, you can ask a question.
No, it's good. I forgot my question. Actually,
Is there anybody on this side who wants to ask a question?
This is for the Foresight. You said that there is 644 million websites and only 130 million books, but how do you know that all of those websites are trustworthy?
Well, when you search many things, there can be many topics, and yes, it's true that some of them might not be trustworthy, but there is also many ways to examine them, as Mr. Molly has taught us. But also, books can be longer and not exactly show the most important parts, which can take you a lot of time to read, and so articles can be more helpful than actual books.
This for the 14. So as earlier you guys said that there's like many apps and like websites, but how do you guys like know that those like apps and websites won't give you viruses and like that?
Well, I didn't really search this, but I spent time on my phone, and I've seen many different apps that can protect your phone from viruses. So if it does have a virus, it can protect your phone from actually getting it and still getting the resources from the actual app.
We're going to have only 2 more questions from the audience, so I'd like to have people who haven't spoken yet. I'm going to start just back here because I've given you guys a lot of attention.
Do you have any proof of the last question that Jorge answered?
Do you have it? So he's not asking for personal experience, he's asking for logos or quotes or citations.
We unfortunately don't have that because we didn't think that upcoming question would come up. But there is several apps that I have seen, and I don't think I'm the only one that's seen them. And there's like antivirus. There's this one app that I actually accidentally downloaded, and it was helpful. And it even gave me a free trial.
Teachers, I will start calling down classes when it's time to head over to the assembly. Again, please wait till you hear me call for your class. Thank you.
We go to school. It's real. Our last question goes to John. This is the final question from the audience.
This is for the foresight. Do you guys have any evidence that phones are better than computers, or they're more useful?
We're running out of time. Please answer the question.
There are apps that are similar to computer and smartphones because and there's also a different ones because
Is it okay if I answer the question?
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, answer.
Okay, so even though I have mentioned that a smartphone has a lot of same functions as a laptop, there's also different functions that a laptop cannot access. For example, social media, and even though social media can be bad, there's also things where you can call relatives that are very far away, and which many times laptops can't, and laptops several times ask for a fee, but I've seen many different smartphones that don't.
Pause. We have to give this mic to them because they're going to have assembly. Question and answer moment between the 2 different teams here. I'll leave the mic up here. Please take turns. So once you ask a question, they have to ask the question, and then you guys can always return, okay?
Is there really a big chance of getting smartphone addiction? Because I found an article stated by Simon Hill that smartphone addiction is a thing but rare.
Well, according to our articles, it does not state that it is a very rare occurrence. In fact, according to it, it's a very common occurrence.
So, do all these smartphones, do they all really cost so many lives that have been lost, like family and friends? Do they? Because family and friends are some of the worst things to lose. So, how is it that just a smartphone could make such a big thing happen?
Well, it's not really the it's the smartphone's fault, because if the person using it wants to be safe when using it, it will find different extensions, such as just using speaker, or just not reaching it at all, or, as I have already said, at connecting it to your car, which you can talk and speak, and even with the steering wheel answer it, which can help reduce the risk of actually losing family members, as you have said. So you've said about a story about your brother, how he is not coming. Well, there's actually a way you can fix it, because I actually found an article about many apps that can limit the time that your brother is using his phone, and block it, and even put a passcode to where he cannot use it. Is it really the problem is the smartphone the problem, or the way that you guys are not using it in a smart way?
Well, first off, my brother's phone does not have access to Wi-Fi, so he cannot download any applications. So it's my mom's phone, so my mom doesn't want to put parental controls on it, so that's why. And he's addicted to the phone, and my mom can't really put parental controls on it, like I said, because it's her phone, not his. So it's not really her problem, or it's not really my brother's problem, it's the phone's, or my mom's.
You guys said that kids use apps to help them with school, but how do you know that they aren't getting distracted and using other apps on the technology?
Well, I actually found another app where it blocks any notifications and actual access to social media, such as Facebook, Snapchat, and even Twitter. And it blocks it. I'm pretty sure it's called Time Off, where you can you can select apps where you can make sure that you don't get distracted on it, so that can help you focus on what you're doing with tutors or talking to a teacher.
Other questions? Are there any other questions from either side? Are you using the time to talk or deliberate? I need a response from either team.
So do you guys have any evidence that because earlier you guys said that smartphones are better than computers, but my mom, she has a computer with Facebook, and it runs fine just by itself. And so, how exactly would a smartphone benefit instead of a computer?
Well, even though, as you said, that you can use different apps that are like the same as on a phone, you can't really travel with your phone, with your laptop on it, because if, for example, with the extension for the car on the phone, there's no extension for a laptop. So, and also with the price, laptops are more expensive.
To counter the question the answer that you just said, well, most phones cost to around $800 from what I've seen, especially the Samsung phones, and $600 to $800 to be specific. But my laptop that I have at home is about $200. That's about $400 cheaper. Could you maybe explain more about how cell phones are cheaper than laptops?
Well, as you said that you have a laptop home that's $200, there can also be phones that can be cheaper. There can be laptops can be up to $2,000. There can be phones that can be as low as $100. And it doesn't matter if there is a thing. It matters if there's a thing that can help you with the price, which there is. And phones can be much cheaper than a laptop, because as I've said, there's phones that work pretty well that are $100, and there's laptops that the low price is actually $200, so that's kind of a big difference.
So another thing that you guys said earlier is that Google Docs and Google Slides and Word, they are all available on a smartphone, but on a computer it's easier to use. But like on a smartphone, how is it the same as using it on a laptop? And how is it easier to use?
As well as the things might have originated on a laptop, there is also social media that you have said that so my answer would be that yes, it is easier in a laptop, but it's still available on the phone, and where you can be in a car and you can be walking, you can be using and updating it. But also, just a follow-up thing, you guys said that there's social media that is also available on a laptop, but a lot of social media originated on a phone, so that also is better to use on a phone than on a laptop.
1 minute.
I would agree that some social media do come from phones, but most of them have a counterpart on the computer that can sometimes be a lot easier to use. For example, Twitter. That is a very easy app to use, but it's very much easier on the laptop, as well as Facebook. And if Instagram, that is usually a cell phone app, you can get it on the computer. Now, Snapchat is a cell phone only social media, but out of all the social media that I know of, most have a computer counterpart that is either easier to use or as the same difficulty.
Are there any other questions? Conclusions begin now. Foresight begin.
In conclusion, smartphones make the U.S. better in many different ways, from having access to many things, faster to helping with fast communication. It can also help with the economy because while you could have paid at the least $200 of a laptop with a phone, you only spent less than half and spent that money of many other necessary things. One way smartphones are making the U.S. better is by keeping in contact for emergencies.
So smartphones could be a big help because there could be relatives that are thousands of miles away, and sometimes a smartphone could be the only way to communicate, and apps may be the only affordable way too.
Smartphones have many negative impacts on your health. For example, smartphones have some radiation, so if kept too close to you, it can damage cells. It can also have an impact on depression, obesity, and anxiety. Julie Evans said that she's dealt with 1 to 2 attempts of suicide in the 1900s and 1990s, but now she gets up to 4 to 5 attempts of suicide because of social media.
Another thing to, for the end of our conclusion, is that using smartphones is not a smart idea, nor a safe one. And smartphone-related car accidents cause a lot of injuries, and people sometimes, when they are walking, they forget to look both ways, and they get hit by a car. And that is the end of our conclusion. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so at this time, okay, give yourselves about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Think about which side was more convincing. The for side, where smartphones are making us smarter, or the against side, that smartphones are not making us smarter, okay? Take another 10 more seconds. Think about who you want to vote for. There is no undecided vote. Okay, at this time, we're going to take the vote for the motion. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 for. Against, raise your hand. Okay. Shh. Leave them up when I point to you, put it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, so at this time, In conversations? Okay. At this time, the against has won this debate. Okay. Raise your hand. And the for, they went down from 12 to 7, but they put up a good fight. Okay. Give them a hand as well.